Okay. All right, well, I'm going to get started. So my name is on the screen, Alicia Phillips. Little background on me, I am the digital marketing specialist for the Day Automotive Group. And I've since decided to start my own consulting company, so that's what you'll see in the bottom of the screen. It's the little consulting firm I just started. And I will be talking this morning about building a digital buzz. I get asked a lot what that is, and I'll go into that more in detail. I know it could be a little confusing, and just like they said earlier in the auditorium, feel free if I know there's 5 sessions going on, so if you guys wanted to touch on more than one topic, I promise not to cry if you guys leave the room later. Oh, I should also tell you guys that I tend to be more interactive than a lot of speakers. I don't like to lecture, so if you guys have a question, raise your hand. If you guys want to stop me and ask a question about your personal business, that's fine. Ask me and we'll stop. So, some things I'm going to cover today are some assumptions I'm making, and yes, I make assumptions before I speak. Definitions, groundwork, case studies, methods, implementation methods, and conclusion. So the assumptions that I make 3 of them. I assume that everyone in this room has a website. I assume that everyone in this building has a social media presence of some sort, and I'll assume that you guys care about your business's reputation online. Hopefully everyone in the room is on the page, because that's my starting point. So if you don't have a website or anything like that, this may not be as helpful for you. Digital buzz defined. I call it digital public relations. And anyone familiar, I'll be speaking at the technology conference in 2 weeks about digital public relations. It's PR 2.0 is really all it's all about. Maintaining your reputation, building your reputation, pushing out the reputation you want your company to have on the web, and doing it in a kind of viral, budget-friendly sense. Before we start, some things that I noticed is a lot of companies won't build a consistent base. So I always tell people to lay the groundwork first. So you'll notice like McDonald's social media presence, no matter what platform they're on, it's always the red and yellow M. So that's what you really want. So just like he was saying earlier, the Pittsburgh dad, about how you can't always get the social media name you want because someone's already taken it or the domain you want. Make sure your logo is consistent, because that's how your customers are going to find you, and make sure they know that that's the place they're supposed to be in. Some groundwork. Customer service. Customer service starts in your store. It doesn't start online. You can't have a friendly presence online that's engaging and cares about your customer, and then if someone picks up the phone, they get the rudest person in the world. So let's focus on customer service starting with your employees inside the building, and then pushing that persona online as well. Communicate. Communication. You have to communicate with your customers, whether it's online, on the phone, via email, however they choose to contact you. You still have to communicate and engage with them. Don't treat anyone more important than the other. I will also include blogging as groundwork. I know that that's a little bit far-fetched for some people, but I'd say that you should be blogging as a starting point, as a base, because that will establish you as an expert. So if that person hears about you and hears your reputation, they go to your website and they see you've been blogging for years about this topic, it helps build that reputation that you're looking to build. One of the case studies I pulled was about Cisco, and this was a B2C launch. I know Cisco can sometimes be B2B. This was a B2C launch. And the launch actually ended up saving them over 6 figures because they did this through digital buzz and digital PR. And traditionally, the way they merged it was they had one large event, which was a concert, but then virally they also did video marketing, video conferencing, text marketing, Facebook, Twitter, blogging. So you'll see this was all about digital buzz for the most part, and then the one large concert, which actually had nothing to do with the product at all. They just said Cisco's promoting this product and they're going to throw a concert, and I don't know how many tens of thousands of people went, I can't remember. And it was all focused on online participation. So the launch lasted 3 months total, and 9,000 people attended events online, whether it was video conferencing or things of that nature. So they figured out the launch costs were 1/7 of what it was because there was no gas, there was no paying for people to attend, and things like that. So I know this is an extreme example, but this is how your business can be benefiting as well. You can implement things on a smaller scale, but this is going to be the future. So Cisco's conclusion, I mean, even at the end of the day, they said we couldn't prove that any of this sold our product. There was not a single sale on Facebook or whatever it was. But they did notice that the buying cycle was completely shortened. You didn't have to run, it's okay.
Thanks.
So the buying cycle was shortened. So they noticed that they sold a lot of the product a lot faster than they typically would because of this. You'll also see that Cisco now, 4 or 5 years later, whatever it is, does more than half of all their launches this way. So they're now cutting costs in their marketing department because of that. So everyone likes to talk about some methods. So some things that I like to start with, obviously, is special offers. Everybody tweets and Facebooks and everything's their special offers. That's okay, but sometimes it gets really pushy. So I do a 5-to-1 rule on social media. I say 5 posts should be personal or Pittsburgh related or Steelers or whatever you want to talk about. And then one should be like, hey, by the way, don't forget we're running this special this week. Makes you're human, so be human. Facebook isn't some method for you to change into a bot. Community outreach efforts. This one's interesting because I know a lot of companies, a lot of small business owners, when you're first starting out in your marketing or you're first starting out as a business, you guys do a lot of charity work. There's a lot of events you're sponsoring. There's a lot of little league teams and things like that. But for some reason, companies aren't comfortable announcing that on their social media presence, and I don't understand why you wouldn't. It's the same thing. It's viral marketing, it's just on social media. So you should be out there telling people, hey, we sponsor this team. We're really proud of them. They were in the championships, whatever it was. Make sure you're connecting with your audience with that. Giveaway to influencers. This one's a little bit trickier because influencers are people on social media who are influential in whatever arena you're looking at. And there's various websites where you can Google and say, I want to find a Twitter influencer in whatever area, and they'll give you whoever's influential. You can even say just in Pittsburgh, whatever it is. You could say Pittsburgh Dad. So you could give Pittsburgh Dad your product and ask him to tweet about it and things like that's how it works. But you can find your own influencers like that. Like for instance, because I'm a social media influencer or whatever, Clout gives me all these social media tools and free gifts and asks me to tweet about them. Same thing. But that's how you get viral. You get these other people talking about your product, not just your company. Guest blogging. For those of you that do blog, you can ask to be featured in somebody else's blog. So if you find a blog that you really, really like that has a lot of hits, that's a really popular place, you could say, hey, can I write an article for you this week? And they'll probably let you. And that gives you extra exposure and extra audience that you would normally never see. Press releases. Press releases are really simple. There are a new version. It's the 2013 version. They should only take you about 30 minutes to write. It should be a simple 1-page Word document saying this is the who, what, when, where, why. And you can submit them all online now. You submit them to the local news stations, local media channels, and there's press release websites that are free that you just submit your press release. All these things give you SEO value, first of all, because now you have other websites linking to your website, and you have other websites talking about your company. And 2, one of these times the media is going to contact you and say, I want to talk about whatever you're doing. So that's how you get these grassroots kind of efforts going. Yeah.
For the press releases, does that cost anything?
No.
For the online? Okay.
Nope. There's 3 or 4 free press release websites. Just Google submit press release and you'll see them. Social media ads is a new thing. LinkedIn ads, Facebook ads, and now Twitter you can even promote your posts. I will tell you, I ran Facebook ads. They are very, very cheap and very, very targeted. So that's the nice thing about it. You really hit the few 10% of people that you want to hit, and they are effective. I know in a B2B campaign I ran for $50, we got a $10,000 contract out of it. And it's really shocking, the number, because I told my dad it was a joke when I was doing it. I was like, there's no way this is going to work, and it worked. So now LinkedIn's doing ads too, so if you target executives and things of that nature, LinkedIn ads are the way to go. From what I understand, I've never ran one. From what I understand, they're relatively cheap as well, just like Facebook. And Twitter promoted posts, I don't know how I feel about those, because so many people just tweet from their phones and we rarely see the promoted posts. They're more intended for the main full screen viewing on the right hand side. So that could be hit or miss, but you could always try those too. The nice thing is, because they're new, they're cheap, so it's the way to go. They're much, much cheaper than pay-per-click ads. New employee announcements. So when you get a new employee, that should be on your Facebook. Hey, this is going to be our new face, or new cashier, or new receptionist, whatever it is. Put a picture of her up, say her name. Let people get that emotional attachment to your company. You can also announce that you have an updated website and say, like, hey, do you like our new color scheme? Do you like this? Ask polls or things like that. Company milestones, if you've been in business a year, 5 years, whatever, those are things you should be announcing. Any awards you're winning. There are tons and tons and tons of contests in Pittsburgh. I know we just participated as Day Auto in the top workplaces in Pittsburgh. There's so many, there's hundreds of award things like that, and they're all free. You just put your name in and see if anything happens. So I would definitely recommend doing those. So the question is, I'll ask, because everyone is in this room, and more people than I thought was going to be actually. I'm going to assume, does everyone see a value in building digital buzz for your business? Do you guys see a need for it? You think it would help? Okay. Does anyone think they're doing it properly right now? You can raise your hands. Does anyone think 100% they're like on it? Feel confident, raise your hand if you're going to raise it. Okay.
90%.
Okay, 90 is okay too. I'll take 90. So for everybody else, like, what's stopping you? This is where I'm going to start asking you guys questions. So what do you think, is it because digital buzz is kind of a new term and it's a little weird and it's abstract, that's why you're not doing it, or you don't have the time, or anybody want to throw out something? Not leave me hanging?
I guess for me, I've had some success with buzz in some of my Facebook pages, but not in other campaigns. So it's trying to figure out the best practices from what I've done well in some of the campaigns and some of the pages that doesn't seem to be working very well in the other pages, maybe because of a different audience or...
Some of the pages do you run, are you like a social media consultant? Do you run?
No, I just kind of volunteer my time for some 3 or 4 different pages, but one I created for fun and ended up going bonkers. The other ones that I'm actually working on trying to make a buzz, I don't seem to be creating a buzz, so it's kind of
okay. Weird. And what kind of companies? Any nonprofits?
Nonprofit.
Nonprofit. Okay, now that's a whole nother segment of social media you'll never even hear me talk about, because that's its own war zone that I won't enter. But there's a lot. If you Google nonprofit social media, there's a lot about it. It's very, very hard. I don't envy you.
I think our biggest challenge, I work for a nonprofit too, I work for a private school, and when the new tools come along, how do we, we only have so much time to invest.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing well on Twitter, we're doing well on Facebook, we're doing well on YouTube. Do we get into Google+? Do we get into Pinterest? And how do we do it?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of making those determinations, because we don't want to put a lot of time and effort into something new.
Mm-hmm.
Learning it as a whole different thing to learn, and then not have it pay off in the end.
Okay,
well, go away completely.
Yeah. I will tell you, Google+, I know pretty much nobody uses right now. It's only the high-tech early adopters. Your customers are not on Google+, and I'll say that now, it's fine. The thing about Google+ is those posts, because Google loves Google like it loves YouTube, those posts are all indexed. So everything you say on that social media network is an index with Google. So that's one more chance you're in the rankings, because those are the things you're posting. So do I think you're going to get customers or sell anything or gain any charitable contributions from it? No. But if someone's Googling, Pittsburgh, whatever charity you're doing, that's one more chance for you to show up. And Pinterest, we can talk about Pinterest for 2 seconds. That's about all I'll address it for. It's mostly females, 30 to 50 range, and it is people who are buying small, unique products. That's what they're buying on Pinterest. Custom, like Etsy's doing really well because they're custom hair pieces or things of that nature. So is there a market for Pinterest? Yeah, but it is visual and it's small sales. So you'll see, like, our Day Auto group has Pinterest accounts. It does nothing. It just sits there. There's pictures of cool cars or whatever. but it's not community building, it's not engaging, it's not a communication starter, it's just kind of static.
What about Instagram?
Instagram, we do not have Instagram accounts. I just got my iPhone last week. I joined the Mac crew for the first time. I'm a Droid girl, so I'm still learning about Instagram. I think people overuse the hashtag, and it's driving me crazy. They will hashtag 30 words in a sentence. I have no idea what the point of that is. I can't figure that out. It's illogical to me.
Do you have advice though on just determining when something new comes along, determining on whether that fits with your goals and your messages for marketing?
Yeah, well, if you don't have the time, and if this is like one facet of your position, I wouldn't say jump right on the bandwagon, because there's going to be kinks, there's going to be weird things that happen. I would say give it 6 months and then research it again and say, okay, what's going on with Pinterest now that it's been around for a while? See who the customers are, and then you'll figure out if it's for you or not from that. Early adopters tend to be the techies who want to jump on everything like me because it's my job. Then the real customers come.
I was going to add, you could even just look at what some of your competitors are doing and see if anybody's, like, so for Google Plus, if you go look at their page, you'd see nobody's doing anything with it. And then you can sort of have, maybe pick 3 or 4 competitors, people in a similar space, and let them do the heavy lifting, and then decide if you want to come in later, maybe.
We do that a little bit, and
Yeah.
most of them aren't. It's just really one new competitor who's using them.
I know for nonprofits, I know tweet chats are pretty huge. That's what I hear about all the time. Do you do some of those?
No, I mean, we're a school, so we're not like a traditional nonprofit. We have different branches because we're on one hand trying to get enrollments, we're getting students to enroll, but then we're also trying to get, stay engaged with our alumni and, get donations that way too. So it's sort of like two areas, plus stay engaged with our parents and students who are, students are largely on Twitter right now. So it's sort of like kind of 3, and then if you throw in our like faculty and staff, and then, I mean, it gets very fun.
Oh, teenage girls on Twitter. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
really fun. I'm in chemistry class. I just had to mix this. These people, some of these kids forget that this stuff's permanent. Somebody needs to remind them this stuff doesn't disappear when you graduate high school.
We've had this conversation.
When you talk about the different things, the polls and press releases and different stuff to put on there, are some better for Facebook and some are better for Twitter? Because I imagine you wouldn't want to put the same thing on both your Facebook and Twitter account. So do surveys, a link to a survey, is that better on Twitter? And, how do you like on your website? Is better on Facebook?
There's 2 types of surveys. There's a legit survey that goes to like SurveyMonkey or one of those that you get back stats and things like that. I run the simpler, just like flash Facebook questions, and you'll see like flash poll, like I did one yesterday. Would you use a heated windshield wiper or something like that? So it's easier if you want to do a full SurveyMonkey survey. You can do that and just link to it. Yeah, that's fine. You can do both. You can link to it from Facebook and Twitter.
So are some of those things that you talked about, building the digital buzz, better for one platform versus another?
You'll get more of hits on Facebook than Twitter. The thing with Twitter is a tweet has a lifeline of like 4 seconds. So if you're not seeing, their audience isn't seeing it that quickly, it's gone. Facebook, you have more of it's like a few hours, 4 or 5 hours I think was the last.
What we found success with is all of our news feeds are on an RSS and they automatically go to Twitter and Facebook. But we use Twitter otherwise more for real time. So if there's an activity on campus, we'll take a picture of that and tweet that out, more real-time news, whereas Facebook's more like, this is what happened recently, or more outreach.
I would not recommend doing that. The RSS feeds, just auto-feeding, yeah.
I can't do it any other way.
Yeah, I will,
It's either that or they don't go out. So, I know you have to weigh the pluses and minuses there, and we've carefully considered them, but that's what we decided to do.
Yeah. I will, since we're on this topic, I'll log into my Hootsuite, which is going to be a really good tool.
That's what we use for our RSS.
That's what you use.
Except
is anyone else in here using Hootsuite already? Oh, good, hands.
They failed on us 4 times in the past 4 months, and now I'm looking for something new.
Failed on you?
They just quit working? Yeah.
I've never seen that.
The opposite of the
Yeah, you could use TweetDeck maybe.
I'm considering that. I really love Hootsuite's analytics, and I do a monthly analytics report.
Okay.
and we were using Twitter feed, but
Who's
it
Emily?
was taking
You
me
guys
a
are
long time
fast.
to compile those, but I don't know what I'm gonna do right now.
Yeah,
If anyone has suggestions,
Yeah.
I don't think TweetDeck can give you the analytics.
right.
Yeah, that's the down. TweetDeck's not as user-friendly as Hootsuite, I think. But for those not using Hootsuite, this is Hootsuite, and the nice thing about it is you get your screens all in one shot, all your Twitter or Google Pluses or however you want to set up. You can even get your Facebook feeds in here. You'll see I manage a ton of accounts, so you see all these accounts. But you just type in your message like, hey, here at the conference or whatever, right? So for Twitter, they want you to use the hashtag PCPGH7, right? That does not belong on Facebook. This is like one of my biggest world pet peeves. Don't post that on Twitter and Facebook. Can you come in this time? There's tons of seats down here.
Oh, I will do that.
So it's so easy. The thing about Hootsuite that makes it so easy is all you do is, select your account, send the tweet, right? All I do then is I copy it, Control-C, after I send it, Control-V, remove this, and then that'll go on my Facebook. It's literally 3 seconds, and that's how you get appropriate content. Hashtags do not belong on Facebook, okay? For the love of Jesus. Okay? Facebook, people are really reading it. People read your Facebook posts. They will read a paragraph if there's some heartfelt engagement reason with a picture. They'll read a paragraph of information. They're not going to read hashtags. Come in. It's okay. So at any rate, we can continue the discussion though. Go ahead.
We don't use hashtags on Facebook.
Okay.
Clarify that.
I swear a part of my heart dies every time I see one. And that's my other thing with Instagram, because people Instagram their Facebook photos or share them or whatever, and you'll see 30, I love, hashtag shoes, hashtag, 9 West. I'm like, oh, for the love of Jesus. I'm gonna die if I see this
It's
anymore.
confusing for Facebook users, and people have said that to me before. They're like, I don't understand, what's this pound thing?
Right.
Like, why is the number sign before these words?
And if your clientele's a
Because
little
they use
bit, older, they're not gonna understand like an Instagram photo with 30 hashtag words.
Right.
So.
I have a comment to make about the RSS
Hit me.
feed. A lot of, and I guess this goes to the room, I have a lot of friends who are in the music world, and I'm in the music world too. And I've noticed from their Facebook pages that, if they have something that's automated from a different source, that they upload their calendar, and their calendar feeds to their Facebook, and it says a third person, so-and-so has a show on this day, versus a person saying, hey guys, I have a show at so-and-so on this day. Fewer people will respond to the post because it's not personal, like the whole story behind Facebook. So I just noticed that there's less fan engagement, there's less communication with your fans.
We use I preface it with, so if it's a news post, it will say news post, and then the title, so people know it's a news post, and know it's not like a one-on-one, but I do get a lot of likes and things on Facebook from those.
Oh no, this is just a general thing.
Yeah, no, but I think that's a good point, and that's why I do the preface. When we post a new blog post and it goes out, people know it's a new faculty blog or a new student blog, and then the title, so they know where it's coming from. But that's a good point, because you want it to be more as personal as you can make it.
Well, okay, let me do a flash poll in the room here. Does everyone know my boss, Debbie Flaherty? Anybody?
Yes.
Has anyone ever seen her commercials? Yes. Is anybody connected with her on Facebook?
No.
No, nobody. Nobody's her friend? Okay. I love Debbie. She's a fantastic woman, and she gets a lot of recognition from the commercials. Like, she walks down the street now and people recognize her and things like that. She happens to be a very nice person. So you'll see on her Facebook, hey, it's Friday, I'm walking my dogs, and you'll see an Instagram photo of her and her dogs at the office and things like that. That's why people love her, because she's genuine, transparent. There's nothing, you don't have to be a fake person. You don't have to say, I'm so important, a secretary has to do my Facebook postings and things like that. That's when people start to feel disconnected from your business. Just tell them you're a business owner just like they're, a business owner maybe. Connect with them on that kind of level. Everyone likes real people. This end of the room's a little quiet.
Have you or has anyone else in here had success using traditional press releases? Because honestly, we've never done a traditional press release. We use social media to connect with writers and bloggers, and we've had a lot of success. I mean,
So you're finding those influencers.
yeah, we find the influencers and we connect with them socially. We've never used the traditional press release and submitted it. Has anyone in here ever had success? Like legit success?
Oh, mine's illegitimate. That's what he said.
No.
I think one of the things you need to do is try to establish yourself. So press releases help establish yourself with reporters that you're an authority. And because that's led to reporters actually calling us and saying, hey, we're doing a story on X. Can you help us?
I don't think they'll find instant. I think it builds that rapport, so when they want to talk about cell phones or whatever, they're going to end up calling you. Those reporters don't really know. I don't know that reporters, I don't know if any reporters remember, I don't know that they Google anymore and say like, Pittsburgh, whatever, expert. I think they already have a database, and unless you're getting out those press releases and getting on their minds, then you probably aren't in that Rolodex.
No, we.
Just a guess.
I work at one of the TV stations. We use Google all the time.
Do you Google for experts?
Yes, we have a database, but we're always looking for new people. So a lot of times you'll hear in a meeting, hey, we need to find this, and like we just Google it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got inside your Rolodex. That's good to know. I'm going to keep submitting my press releases.
I also wanted to add, there's a service called Pitch Engine for press releases that kind of update your press releases to be more now. So you can embed links and video and images. You could add tags to it, so it makes it more online friendly and a little bit more digestible. So that's another option. They have free and then paid options. So
What was it called?
Pitch Engine. Pitch Engine. Yep.
Sean?
Yeah, I'd say that the challenge with press releases is they're sort of counter to what you were just talking about. They're sort of generic. They're sort of all about the business. Traditional press releases. They're like, we have this new cloud accounting app, and maybe that's really exciting because it's your business. But I think on the other side, it's really hard to sort of write something about that without turning it into a press release as the media outlet. So some of the ones that I know Mike's really good at this, and Sell Helmet is just really customizing whatever outreach you're going to do. And sometimes it's harder to get in front of the Post-Gazette folks or whatever. But just say like, hey, I saw this, I thought this was really interesting, and I'd love to just share something that we're working on or whatever. So it's more of you try to create more of a conversation than sort of a static, because the press releases are generally generic, and they're sort of so company focused. And I know that's something that
I've always felt like they just get sifted through, like, oh, press page of words. We've always found it so much more beneficial to reach out and communicate with that person and just talk with them. I mean, like you said, show them you're a human.
I limit my press releases, obviously, but it's like the big stuff like, we're doing a breast cancer push with Day, so I'm going to tell the press about that we're doing that. Nothing came of it, but it's okay. One more hit on Google is not going to kill me or my company. So. Okay, well, we'll continue the discussion then. But I'll go back to the slides real fast. So where to start? It always starts with planning. I noticed that a lot of small business owners, because you guys are really, really busy, don't really plan. You just have this idea and you roll, because that's what business owners tend to do. You just implement whatever's on your mind. This kind of requires more planning. You have to figure out what avenues you want to use. If you're going to use YouTube, Pinterest, blah, 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 you have to pick them. Then you have to decide what you're going to announce. And I suggest doing this earlier, like our October breast cancer awareness plan, or push, was October, obviously because it's that month. I started planning in August because I knew come the end of September, early October, this news already had to be out. I can't wait till the end of the month. So plan ahead of time, plan your channels, plan your message, and then tell your staff about it. There's also a disconnect there. If you have employees, they should know what's going on. And then sometimes that gets lost in the mix. And then execute and tracking. Unless you're tracking your campaigns and seeing where you invest your time, it's really not worth it then. Go hard or go home, favorite quote. I say if you're going to do a campaign, do it 110%, even if you feel like you're doing it wrong, if you feel like you're clumsing your way through it, if you feel uncomfortable with it, do it 110% anyway, because at the worst, you just find out next time I need to improve X, Y, Z. Don't be embarrassed, don't be timid about it. So choose just what I was just saying, methods and your message. Proofread. Oh yeah, I put a little box here about proofreading. Just make sure you proofread your messages. I know in Hootsuite, and for those who are using Hootsuite, you can pre-plan your messages and schedule them ahead of time. Just make sure they're spelled correctly, because kind of everything gets lost if you don't have the correct spelling. Everyone kind of puts a -1 against your brand if you can't spell a Twitter message right or anything like that.
So say you send something out with a typo. What's the best course of action after that?
On Twitter?
Well, not so much Twitter, because I mean it's easy to do. But say you're doing an email campaign, and you get a nice big typo in an opening paragraph.
Or the subject line, even better.
Or the subject line. Yeah, we actually our web developer did that once, and it's. What do you do? I mean, do you do what the cultural trust does? It says, "Oops, we made a mistake," and send another one out. Or do you
I
just
would not
pretend
do that. I wouldn't do that. I think once your email blast goes out, now you probably have a database of what, a few hundred, few thousand people. I wouldn't send them 2 emails in a row saying, "Here's my email. Oh, I just messed up." I think it's a waste, and people are going to start ignoring your emails because you're like 2 in their inbox right away. That's my opinion. There's other opinions in the room, I'm sure. I just let that one go. On Facebook, though, I have made spelling mistakes. I'm human. I'll delete it and I'll redo it real fast before that one goes back out. Tweets, they're gone. It is what it is. Once you push that tweet button, it's gone. So you can tweet again and do it correct the next time, but that one's already out there.
You can delete
To me, it's already gone. It has a lifeline of 4 seconds.
So you get another 4 seconds.
Yeah. To me, it's like already on the screen and gone. To me, Twitter moves too fast.
I delete them so it's not in your history.
Yeah.
But I think it's more forgivable on Twitter and social media because people do understand it's quick, more timely information than an email. Emails, which I've made that mistake before. Yeah, it's a little harder to.
And email marketing is hard enough as it is to get those databases. You don't want people opting out. I mean, that's the other factor in there. I have a golden rule. Fab 5 testers is what I call it. So if you're going to do something in your business, just anything, if you're building your website, if you're getting a place to run out for your business, whatever it is, I always say stick to your Fab 5, which are 5 people that you really, really trust their opinion. They're smart people. You would listen to their opinion and maybe change your actions if they have a different opinion. And just test it out on them. Say, I'm going to do, in December, I'm going to run this campaign. What do you think? And then just get their opinion. And contact information. Here's the other thing I noticed. Sometimes people will run these huge marketing campaigns, and then you go to their website and you can't even find a phone number or an email. What are you doing if they can't even contact you? What's the point of everything you just did? Okay, so make sure it's visible and everywhere, easy to access. Some people tweet their emails or Facebook their email addresses and phone numbers. That's fine too. Track. So I divided the tracking part into trackable and priceless. Okay. So some of the things with digital PR that you can track, obviously, is your Facebook interactions, Twitter, YouTube, hits on your blog, hits on your website, how many conversions you got that month, things of those natures. Phone calls if you use tracking phone numbers. The priceless items you get from this groundwork that you're kind of creating the buzz from the bottom is branding, goodwill towards your brand, shortening of the buying cycle, and free word of mouth marketing. Okay.
Branding and brand Google, it takes years to build up if you just start it.
Well, this is about shortening that cycle. It's about getting it in.
Yeah, but brand Google is a 20 years company that has a goodwill. If you start the 6 months, you don't have any goodwill.
Yeah, we're all about trying to speed that process up. I'd like to think in the last year. Yeah, it takes time, but I think it's the value you get for it. I think that if you're putting out your company's name and saying, I sponsor this Little League thing, I do this charity work, we're participating in this 5K and things of that nature, people really connect with your brand. They want to see that. And they'll start saying, like, oh, I see this company at all these charity events. They must do a lot of charity work. I think just one aspect, but I think those conversations happen offline, and I think that's where you get the value.
And if you never start, you can't read
Do you like butter? I have some. Does anybody want me to stay on the slide? I know I breeze through the slides because I prefer just to talk. I could live without slides if I could. So Brian Solis, Do you want my
Oh, no.
Okay, you can have it.
No. Appreciate that.
Brian is a pretty well-known social media expert on Twitter, for anybody that is huge on Twitter. And I'm not going to read you his quote because everyone in this room can read. I just thought this was a really great quote. The thing I like about this quote is, this is the future. This is the future of marketing. It's no more like, we're doing this, and here's what I'm saying, here's what I'm doing. It's going to be, what do your customers want? And then figuring that out and then targeting and saying, well, you know, our customers are on Facebook every Saturday and they happen to like half off flash sales or whatever it is. So that's what you're going to start doing because that's what they like. So I do like, if anybody wants to follow an expert on Twitter, I would follow him. And then we're back to, I know I'm really, oh no, I'm pretty good on time. And then we're back to the discussion part. Is there any questions? I know I breezed through the slides and I'm so sorry. If you guys email me and you want a copy, that's fine. They're on the internet, so it's just a hyperlink. It's really easy for me to send you. They're published.
So for nonprofits, I mean, a lot of what we do obviously is geared towards fundraising. And
is there a lot of nonprofits in this room? We've got quite a, okay. Nonprofit social media is its own nightmare.
So my question is how, I mean, obviously we all do positive things, we all have compelling stories, but a lot of times we always want to tie an ass to it. How do we do that in a way that's not, hey, we have more money, hey, we have money,
well, I think
we have money, hey, we have money.
I'd like to say that everyone knows that nonprofits are seeking money at the root of their business, so I don't think that you even need to put out a push for it. I think if you create these compelling stories and then create opportunities for them to donate, I don't know your specific nonprofit, but you know, if you're like, Saturday we're running this drive here.
Like, I'll give you a good example. Like, we just got back, we just did free surgeries in Latin America. So we got back and now we're posting patient stories. And so we'll tell a story of a patient. And at the end we'll say something like, you know, $25, if you know, a $25 donation today, you know, will allow us to do this work next year in such ways. And so, but I mean, so that's how. But we do that. But at the same time, I don't want it to seem like telling these stories is always about the ass.
Right. Because then you look like that commercial with the singer who's always
yeah,
with the baby.
With the children in the dish
yeah.
butterflies.
Does everyone know what I'm talking about? I can't even remember what it is now, but. The one thing that I would suggest for you is probably connecting with a larger brand like Animal Friends and Giant Eagle and these type of brands. I know Animal Friends is huge in the charity work, but you can connect with them and ask them to push on their social media and say like, hey, if somebody donates $1 through this link, will you match it? And then you get the benefit of their social media networks too.
To add to that too, I'm not sure who was talking. I think with nonprofit too, it's just like any other business on social media, because say you're a for-profit and sell, that no one wants to see that all the time. So I think creating a mix of things, you know, you don't have to keep asking for donations, but showing some sort of inside look at something you do, or sharing something pertinent to the industry, that's just to share it, just to, you know, something that people will want to see and share themselves. So I think having that nice mix of things makes it a little bit more, it's easier to follow, and you won't lose followers because you're not constantly asking for money. Showing the behind the scenes and what you're actually donating is really important. So visuals help, you know, getting on Instagram or just uploading a picture to Twitter is really helpful. So.
And the thing, I mean, with nonprofits and those type of situations where you're sharing photos and whatnot, the whole end game for that is have people share to their networks and get those people that aren't even reaching you. So if you create something that's engaging where the people are going to be really touched with the heartstrings and want to tell other people about it, that's really the goal of a campaign like that.
I view my job
there you
as
go. That's it. Sarah McLachlan with the baby.
I view my job as sort of creating a warm and fuzzy, so that when the ask does come, they've already feel good about our organization.
Do you run with like a ratio, like a 5-to-1 or something?
I don't. I almost never ask.
Almost never.
We only ask. We do specific campaigns on on social media, and we only do it a few times a year. We do an email campaign separately, and they go out once a month. But
Yeah, something else now that I'm like thinking about you and your business. Of course, now it's on my mind. I would just make sure too on Facebook you only get those 4 boxes on the top. Make sure one of them is the donate button. It has to be really easy for people to get to when they do want to get to your page and donate. And of course on the home page, but I'm sure that's there. I'll assume that's there. Any more? Any nonprofit questions?
Do you know any ways around Facebook is now doing the promote thing where people, only about 10 to 12% of the people are actually seeing your posts? Do you know ways around that without promoting, without paying for the promotion? Yeah.
No, I think it's too new. Yeah.
Well, if you come to my session in the next hour, not a personal plug, but my
Wait,
session,
what's your session?
It's about 10 reports your boss will love. But
okay. Did everyone hear that? 10 reports your boss will love?
In the process of building up
roommate. Main auditorium.
With the beautiful auditorium.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating. But with the process of building up this presentation, I actually learned a lot more than what I was doing prior to making the presentation, and I learned about EdgeRank and specific tools of increasing your engagement.
I don't live through EdgeRank.
And there are, just as there are in Twitter and every other social platform, there's services that you can get reports on your best day, your best kind of post, your best day.
Oh,
your best
Facebook
kind
Insights will give you that stuff.
Yeah, it's a little bit better though. There's some better tools.
Here's my bottom line for all social media is just to keep it honest and simple. So that's my rule in life. EdgeRank is one of those things where it's like you play into their system, you do everything perfectly for them, and then you're going to get hit with a competitor or some other thing down the road that's going to knock EdgeRank out of the system. Now you're going to have to play their game. So all I do is I stay here. I do my game. Okay? Yeah, so that's my thing about EdgeRank. But you can use it. I know a lot of companies that do. Sean, do you have any input on EdgeRank?
You know, I think that, well, when you were talking about some of the content, Facebook, I think, allegedly, like, posted out photos and videos and they were getting 120%, 100% more engagement with those that don't, and they tweaked EdgeRank probably 6 months ago, and then that's when you saw the proliferation of images, which is right around the time everybody was saying Pinterest was going to take over the world and everything. So, tomorrow I'll be talking about the rise of images in social media, because I think that's something we finally are getting to. So I think EdgeRank can influence some of this stuff. I think it's important, but you're right. I mean, it's the same thing with Google. I know there's a session on Google. It's like, you can't chase all this stuff because most people don't have time, and it's going to continue to change. But all of us noticed that probably 6 months ago people started just Constant Contact does it now. So instead of doing a static status update, they mash a status update on like a fake Post-it note on a fake tablet on a fake desk, and people react to it better. Or look at Burgatory, like they do their burger of the day, and it's just a static status update, and it's minimal engagement. They show a picture of a burger and people go bananas. And they show a picture of a milkshake and people go out of their minds. So, I think it's important to think about it, but you're right. I don't think it should dictate what
I mean, to me, it's kind of like SEO. EdgeRank kind of mimics SEO things to me, because you'll see people are going to go, Google liked backlinks. Then all of a sudden everyone bought backlinks by the thousands. Then Google said, oh my God, I don't like backlinks anymore. Then people's sites crash. So my thing is, if you just stay here and do the right thing all the time, you're not going to be affected by all these little businesses and systems and things like that. You can feel free to do that, though. Don't mind me. That's just my business. He's going to talk about Instagram tomorrow.
Cool.
That's where you need to be, right? You're going to talk about Instagram at your photo session?
So I'll talk about just how to build an image strategy and the role that images play in social media. And then I'll also have, some people have seen that they came to social media through Pittsburgh, but I have a really cool, Entertainment Weekly has an ad in it with a live Twitter feed. So a print magazine with a live Twitter feed in it. So I'll have a copy of that for anyone who wants to come check it out.
Digital billboards are becoming huge in Pittsburgh, by the way, with live Twitter feeds and things like that. Very expensive, but very cool. Very cool. You can run whole marketing campaigns just on a digital billboard right now. If you tweet this right now, when people are driving, do you really want people tweeting? I don't know if everyone thought that through, but it's cool.
Are you John? Are you John?
I can be, but I'm Sean.
Sean.
Whatever works for you.
Does anybody else in this room have a session over the weekend that they're speaking at? We can give everyone a chance.
We're doing one on Kickstarter, like crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding. If anyone wanted to learn about crowdfunding, Sell Helmet, right?
Yep.
Yeah, crowdfunding and how it interfaces with nonprofits, and that's at 3.
A lot of nonprofits over here.
My new voice.
Yeah,
I'm doing one with the Propel Gals for social media, social media for women entrepreneurs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So women entrepreneurs. Bright pink cardigan.
Propel Gals.
Guys aren't allowed.
You are. Everybody's allowed.
No, you don't want Mike Kane in that one. Actually,
you are welcome to come, everybody. But we work with women entrepreneurs, so we want it to be true to our brand. But
any other final questions? All right. Can I? I'm gonna take a picture of you guys before we leave, though. And I'm gonna Instagram it somehow if I figure that out. I know I'm a PC and Droid gal, and I know that's a little odd for all the techies in the room who have been on Macs and iPhones for 100 years now.
Instagram is on the Android.
Yeah.
You know what? They released it. They wasn't on my Android. I guess I had like such an old phone that they wouldn't support it. Yeah. Okay, now you guys can be released to the masses now that I have a picture of everyone.